Well, Bears certainly had their chance on this one. I haven't done a video in quite a few days. There wasn't really a whole lot to talk about till now. You had the short holiday weeks, which is really known for, short attacks, got short weeks because of the holiday and stuff like that. So, but I think this stupid program I'm running keeps messing with the colors. But I know I mean I was dead ass wrong on a couple spots here. I thought it would go up from way back here, I think. But shorts managed, that was before the holiday weeks, yeah. So they just started shorting it down. Not a lot of covering. Looks like we got a little bit of cover there. And then we're to where we are now, obviously. But anyway, let's take a little bit, we'll take a little bit deeper look at this today here. And it's actually 4 a.m. Central Time when I'm doing this video. So I just figured I wanted to do a video because there's kind of a lot going on with this right now. If you look, and I'm kind of rambling here because I'm collecting thoughts while I'm messing with stuff, so I'm kind of multitasking, but coming into the new year, we had obviously the short holiday weeks. You get institutions and people reorganizing portfolios. They probably sold off the end of the year, this first week of January here, and now we're probably going to see a big buying spree across the market. I mean, let's face it, the market was shit the last couple weeks, So there's a lot of sectors that are reevaluating, and they're going after different types of stocks and investing a little bit differently. So there's a lot of change up going on within the market, trying to position themselves into companies that are going to experience growth throughout the year. So, but I mean, you're going to see a buying frenzy. So if I go over to FinViz here, one thing with Fubo is they got this. So recently they're talking about this growth conference that they're going to be, I think it's the 17th, I think they'll be there. So, I mean, the conference thing is always a good thing, new eyes on it, but we don't usually see, as any stocks, usually don't see a huge uptick over that, because it happens gradually, and, people jump in and buy shares and stuff like that. But when you're talking, Fubo is right around that 50 million short. It doesn't take that many new investors that's going to push this up. We got earnings coming up here. But then they had this deal with Nexstar, which I get a kick out of this because you get all this positive news, but the stock's going down. Doesn't make sense, does it? And all it is shorts and institutions trying to push it down so that new eyes looking at it, because of some of these press releases and stuff, they want to discourage them. So if the price was going up and you got all these press releases, people are more apt to jump in, But so you got the Nexstar distribution agreement, and then this is, I don't know, it's like a double-bladed sword type of thing. But so the Fubo exchanges that deal with Mudrick Capital, which I hate Mudrick Capital. Any of the stocks in my experience that had Mudrick Capital, they're so shady. They're just shady, But in Fubo's case, they redid that structure of that convertible note that they had from 2026 to 2029, and they saved themselves 20 some, almost $30 million. So, I mean, that's a positive thing. Not only do you push that out several years, you also get rid of 30 million in debt. I mean, so it's positive. I don't like Mudrick Capital, but I mean, that's a positive thing for Fubo. So if we go up to the chart here, and this, I like how they say, 17% short, 49 million, 49.27. It was like 49.57. Yeah, right. You're telling me that it went down? Nah, it's over 50 million short. I guarantee it. So, but if you look at the chart, this is where we're at here. And you're pushing this line on a long-term outlook. You're pushing this line again. So, I expect today, tomorrow, maybe by next Monday, we're going to get another uptick like this. As you get shorts to cover, we're going to go back up to this 350. It wouldn't even surprise me if you hit that, and I'll show you on the other chart, but if we hit that 314, 315 again today, we'll see what happens. But without a doubt, this is going to start pushing back up after today. I mean, I don't see it continuing to go down like they've been doing. So, and of course we have this huge support at this 280, 278, 280, but they can't seem to get past this, where it is right here. So let's just, I can move it down here actually. Let's just move it down here. Just for shits and giggles, we'll move it down here. And so let's just say, they bring it down to this. It's what? 290, something like that. And then we come up here to this. This is kind of what we're looking at short term. This is the 4-hour chart. So, by the end of the week, I'd like to see it break this and go back up and push that 350. So I think, hopefully this opens above 3. You probably get up to that 314. If we go to the minute chart, I'll show you. You notice this gap here? It would not surprise me if it goes back up today, up to that gap. And then we're going to be pushing. See where that gap is right there? And then we're going to be pushing on this line to break that. And they'll probably knock it back down. So maybe by Friday, you're going to be fighting at that $3 level again. And hopefully they, buyers and shorts will have to cover a little bit and it'll push it out of this. And then we head back to that 350. So today's an interesting mark, I think. We got to hold this line here, which I think it will do. It's going to bounce here a little bit in this and then push through. And then we'll be heading back to that 350. I was watching it pretty close yesterday. And, market makers are just collecting shares. they're collecting up, they're collecting down. You know, they're just getting whatever they can get. And they're not going to want to dish out shares lower. So I think they'll push it back up to that 350 so market makers can, you know, make their extra money. We all know they do. I mean, people can say they don't, but, you know, they're in it for the cash. That's why they do what they do. That's why they're market makers. So, I mean, if they can buy it at 297 and sell it at 340, hey, they'll do it all day long, you know. So that's what it's all about. Now, granted, Fubo, along with other ones, like I've been watching Fuel Cell and even Roku and PayPal and, you know, all these other ones. I mean, it's just manipulation, you know, off exchange, you know. I mean, you can't, how do you blame an institution that bought low and they're offering them X amount for those shares, you know, so they can sell them and knock it down? It's just, so they're buying on, you know, they're buying large amounts, and then they go off exchange and have a chance to flip them. Well, who's not going to do that? You know, so it's just, you know, same thing. Like, for instance, I was watching, I think it was at that, I think it was like 305 or something when I was watching it. And, you know, market makers are doing that whole, if you put in order for 305, you're probably getting filled at 4.5, you know, 3. You know what I'm trying to say. I can't, just lost my train of thought there. You know, the 0.5 difference, you know, you're probably getting filled a little bit cheaper just so it's not pushing it up. So it's just, it's amazing what they do. And that's that payment for order flow and, you know, the off exchange BS. You know, Gensler has the option, and they could get rid of this. I mean, Gensler has the option to get rid of off exchange trading. They just won't do it because the SEC is just one big organization with all the rest of these dimwits, you know. It's all it's a big farce. And there's nothing you're going to do about it unless, you know, you get everybody trading, you know, starts complaining and pulls out of the market and everything else. So, I mean, how long has Gensler been in there now? And all he does is just talk. Talks and talks and talks. Tells you what you want to hear. Oh, we're going to do this, and this is going to take place, and then there's court hearings, and this one's suing that, and this one's that, and it never happens, you know. They have those meetings and stuff where, oh, this is going to go into effect on such and such a day, and then by the time that day comes, it gets extended, and, oh, we have to do some more evaluating. Just year after year after year, that they just say just enough to settle down the retail trader. So the retail trader gets all hopeful and, oh yeah, but when this takes effect and when this goes into play, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. And then that stuff never happens. But it calmed them for the year, you know. And it's just one big vicious circle, you know. The money talks, you know. You got all these bigwigs in here, trillions of dollars in the market, and they're always going to pull the weight. So the best thing you can do is just go with the flow. Now, I haven't shorted this because I just don't like the shorting, but, and I don't know why I keep scrolling that and moving it around. I apologize for that, but let's go back to the 4 hour. But I haven't shorted this. I don't like the shorting, but I mean, I have bought puts and sold them off. So it's kind of like shorting it, I guess, you know, but my point is you got to take advantage of which way it's moving, you know. But if you're, now granted, if you're long, you can grab shares whenever this dips and you're going to be in good shape. And I'm going to show you something, if you're long, that should get you excited. And but if you're day trading it, which I can't tell you for sure, but I'm 99% sure that there's a ton of day traders in this. You'd be foolish not to. I mean, when you're moving 10 or 12 cents, you're foolish not to. It's so just cut and dry, black and white. You know, I don't have the VWAP on this chart, but if I put it in, you can clearly see people buying in as it goes above the VWAP and keeps climbing, and they just keep buying, you know, all the way up. It just keep little spikes, you know, where they're buying it up, and, you know, market makers can't even keep up, and then it levels off, and you can see the sells as it starts, you know, if you're watching the books and stuff, you know, you see the sells, and they start getting bigger and bigger, and once they hit that VWAP, if it dips below, then you just see all the sells go in. And it just, you know, and you can see the ones that take more of a chance and, you know, let it continue to fall before they get out. So you get the ones that get a little bit hopeful when it starts getting an uptick and they stay in, and then it pauses a little bit and boom, it drops down. That's because they're like, okay, this isn't going up. And then the rest of them all get out. So until you get, you know, and that's why you have that. And then you get institutions that are shorting on top of that, and it's just a free fall, you know, until everybody gets out, them day traders get out, and then it levels off. And usually, we were seeing, you know, like, and this is where I go back to the short holiday weeks and stuff like that. And now we're, you know, starting today, we're going to be back to that regularly scheduled program where we're probably going to see, depending on where the VWAP is and where it goes throughout the day, you know, we're going to see that, we're going to go back to seeing that. They'll push it down in the morning, it'll run up, day traders are jumping in. You know, if it goes above the VWAP, it'll keep going up. But then if it comes back down below the VWAP, day traders will get out. And then they'll flip from going long to going short. And then by the end of the day, they want to cover those shorts. So we see it pick back up at the end of the day, and maybe gradually over the course of the day get back to where it started in the morning. I mean, that's what we were seeing for months on end, eh? And then we got to those holiday weeks where they just pounded it. So I think now we're going to be back to that regularly scheduled program, you know, and we're probably going to see some of that movement unless we can get a major uptick on this and start heading back to that 350, you know, pushing the 4, get above this 367, you know, and then we're really going to be pushing those shorts that are in this for 50 million to start to cover, you know. And once they start to cover, this is just going to be, like I did that video, 4 to 40 in a hurry. You know, once you get back up to that 350 and they're not able to, you know, market makers start collecting shares when they try to do these drastic drops. If they can't, you know, if shorts can't push it down like this, you know, it starts rolling in their head about getting the hell out of this. So then that's what we're looking at. So if you're long, and I'll end the video with this. If you're long or you're thinking about getting into Fubo, I got something that and I do this a lot with some of the people that I teach to trade, is it's all about risk reward, okay? So now, if you look back, history always repeats itself. So if you don't think that at some point this is going back to $32, $35, you're absolutely crazy. Stop trading. because it's going back up to 30 some dollars eventually, because those shorts that are 50, 55 million into this, they're going to get out of Fubo eventually, unless for some reason Fubo makes a drastic mistake and their business goes to total shit, which isn't going to happen, obviously, So what are you talking about? So let's just say this. So what are you talking about for a low, I mean, shorts really struggle. If this hits 250, I mean, it's just going to be on fire. Everybody's going to be buying this. So look where you're at. 297, $3. That's 50 cents, okay? So here's a tape measure. Okay, so let me show you this. Okay, so here's 250. Okay, so this is your loss. Okay, so that's your risk. If you get in here, that's your risk. Take a look. Take a look at reward. This is only 16. Okay? Let me move this over. I mean, I can go all the way out to $30. Just grab a tape measure and do it for yourself. But let's just say realistically for this video, realistically it's going to level off at $10. That's where my finger is here. And this is where we're at right here. Okay? This is your risk, and this is your reward. It's a no-brainer. I mean, you're 3, 4, 5 times your money. Without a doubt. I mean, yeah, okay, might take some time. Year, 2 years, whatever the case may be. But without a doubt, this is going to $40 and back down to 10, and it's going to level off. It's going to run 8, 10, 12, $15, when they get this, what am I trying to say? When their money is better, and, what do they have a projection for 24, 25 for being positive cash flow and stuff? And I mean, the CEO, he's already did this Mudrick thing. So I mean, they're always progressing. There's always positivity going into Fubo, and they're trying new things, and they're bringing in people that know things, and so I mean, just think about that. The risk to reward if you're long is just crazy. So, I mean, if you're long and you like this stock, you should be buying every dip. It doesn't matter how many it is, I play options, and I can tell you, I mean, going up to like February, March, or whatever, I have well over 100 calls in this. And everywhere from like $2.50 all the way up to $5, I've got calls. And, for me, doing the options, as they get closer to the expiration, then I just roll them out further and further, I'll sell what I have and buy other ones further out, and depending on the price. And, I got ridiculous calls when they drop this down. What I do is I put in the bid. So the price will spike down on them, and then I'll fill them calls. And for me, it's just like, how can you not, You get 20 calls for, $60, $70. I'll take that every day. It's crazy. So, and I should start buying shares for this, but I haven't yet. I don't know. I like the options, I guess. And wow, this is a long video. Okay, so we'll leave it here and see what happens the rest of the week here. But I don't know how many, if I'll do another video. Depends on what happens. We'll see what. I'm sure I will. You know, it depends on what happens, I guess. But I definitely will do one by the end of the week. So we'll see you in the next video.